Okay, so we have a new used iPad from a friend. It arrived today. I've got it set up, and right now it's just fingers crossed that this will work, that I'll be able to upload to YouTube, because I've had nothing but trouble using my phone and the last iPad, which of course passed away unexpectedly. I I'm a very fortunate person. I do a pretty good amount of complaining about stuff not going right, but on the whole, I think I'm a very fortunate person. I've had a number of people step up in the past and be like, "Dude, I've got an iPad I'm not using anymore. Would you like it?" I think this is my one, two, three, we may now be on iPad number 4. 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4. Daniel Horn, the illustrator Daniel Horn, gave me the last one, and as I said, unexpectedly, it passed away in the night. Shelley Graham has given me one. My friend Suzanne in Pennsylvania and her hubby gave me one. I've had 2 people give me laptops. Electronics and I don't really get along well. I think we're getting along fine, and then all of a sudden there's a puff of smoke and it's dead. But we'll see how this one does. So far it looks like we're doing pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do a studio mate from another state. I did try and do a live feed a little while ago, a live painting session, studio mate in another state live. It didn't work out, so we're going to do this instead and see what happens. Behind me is a portrait of Alec Baldwin. As you can see, he's very stick figure and wonky. My professional term for not quite right, wonky. But I'm going to start working on him. I hope you've got projects set up and you're working on. Right now, the state of Florida, where I am, we're under a 30-day non-essential go home and think about what you've been as a human being time. And I just finished my first week. This is one full week. And to tell you the truth, I'm having a blast. I was built for this, for being alone, working on stuff. This is a very serious time. It's a very scary time. People are losing friends and family, so I'm sorry to make light of it. I, however, personally am very happy to not be a part of things. So, that said, and please, my sincerest, my absolute sincerest sympathies if you are sick, and if you've lost a family member. But know that here you will always have community, and that you're thought of, all right? But I also hope that we have ways of keeping ourselves busy while the world is burning and falling apart. Anyway, that is supposed to look like this, which is a picture I pulled off of a video that Alec Baldwin made. The look of exhaustion and fatigue, just sheer bone, tired, fatigue. I'm not sure how much more I can take is what I pulled out of there. Now, apparently I've screwed up on a couple of places. Really, his face is much longer than this. So I'm thinking about like wiping it down and wiping it down, bringing him down quite a bit. But I also kind of like it. I like the exaggeration of the eyes. I don't like how cartoony it feels. I don't want him to feel or look silly or like I'm mocking anyone. And I certainly want it to look like Alec Baldwin, which it doesn't really at the moment. I keep telling myself it does, but it doesn't. In this particular portrait, as in many of the paintings I have going on right now, I'm using less Neo McGilp and more mineral spirits, so I can pull out the dryness of the paint. I can really dry out the oils, and then have the option of applying glowing, glossy Neo McGilp and oil together in the end. For a while there, like in my portrait of King Femme, it was very thick with glossy Neo McGilp, glossy oil. And I don't like operating like that. I like the way the light can go into the paint, down to the aerosol, bounce back out, or not. I like the juxtaposition of glossy against dry. Pencil on the black gesso, pencil on aerosol, oil pastel on aerosol, oil pastel on oil. I love the way each of those has the ability to accept or reject light. I just love it. I love the juxtaposition. Anyway, I'm going to get to work on him. You get to work on your project. Again, this is Studio Mate in another state, where I primarily work, and we just have a little bit of community together. All right, we share space without sharing space. It's kind of awesome, kind of dumb, kind of awesome. Alec Baldwin. And we'll see if eventually this actually makes it up onto YouTube, which is just being a pain in the ass. They put up that new creator studio and it's just screwing everything up. And apparently I'm not the only one, because I've been reading reviews. People hate it. I'm going to take this guy down. I made a little stand for my phone on the wall so I can use it. Use it to hold my phone, paint from the images on my phone. Blah, 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 blah. So I was just pouring my mineral spirits. I have a question though, if you can put in the comments below. What have you been doing during this during COVID-19, sorry. It was a pretty frightening time, and it's hard to focus. I was actually talking with a friend the other day, checking out my hair. Can't see it anyway. Can't get a haircut. Like anybody. I actually gave Bugsy a shave today. We started it, and then he was like, just stop, I'm old. Stop shaving me. Cigarette. Give me a milk bone, I'm going to go sit in the corner. Well, don't tell him, but I'm going to finish cleaning him up later. So I was, I'll finish that haircut, and then I'm thinking about just buzzing my own head. I hate this. It's too hot. Anyway, talking to a friend of mine the other day about this. And he has been very, very sad, very frustrated, very, very frustrated, because all of his supplies are locked up in his painting studio at school. So he has nothing to work with, or at least he felt that way, nothing to work with. He didn't have access to anything. We haven't been doing videos, so he's lost a few connections in there. And I'm just curious as to what other people are doing. Well, I'm at home, giddy to be home, painting Alec Baldwin in my new house. I moved into in December. In the garage that I haven't been able to work out of really, because I'm always working, always at my job. Now, I'm working. I'm just wondering what other people are doing. I know my friend Danny is at home with her girls who watch these videos, which I'm not sure is good for kids, but okay. I know they're home. Just wondering what other people are doing. If you could please write down in the comment section. I'd really like to hear from you. And if you have started your own YouTube channel, especially if you're more helpful than I am, please let us know. By us, I don't just mean me and my personalities, I mean anybody who comes to this channel, which admittedly is not many people lately, but whatever. Whatever, dude. What's nice about this is I can actually look back. I changed the angle of his face. Sorry, I said I wouldn't talk, and here I am yammering. I tilted his head down just a little bit. It wasn't intentional. I did it by mistake, and I'm just sticking with it. So it's kind of throwing things off. I am curious what other people are doing. Honestly, my birthday is coming up. And my son was supposed to come out. He's in Seattle, which we know is a little bit of a mess. He, his wife, and my new grandson have not met the new grandson, by the way. He's over a year old. Apparently everybody else in the universe has met him, just not me. Because I'm here in Florida. The neighbor's walking by with his dog. He's thinking I'm talking to myself. He thinks I'm talking to myself. I think. Yeah, so my son was supposed to come out. Cannot. Don't want him to right now anyway. Don't want anyone at risk. So this is my birthday. I haven't seen him for a long time, for over 3.5 years now. Time, distance. Time and distance. I'm going to keep checking back and forth. When I look at him this way, he actually looks like Alec Baldwin. When I look in the camera, or I look at the image on the iPad, it doesn't. It looks like one of my screwed up guys. So I'm looking in the mirror now. Yeah, I didn't make his face long enough. He's a very long, thin face, especially now that he's lost so much weight. Alec has been, I should have made his face longer. Alec has been holed up in his apartment in Manhattan with his family. And every day he puts out a series of videos. Every day he puts out videos. And I've been taking stills from them. This is not one where he felt particularly good about himself, I can tell you. He was upset because he was apparently not at his best. But he gave this look of resignation and sadness, or resignation and exhaustion, that I found incredibly compelling, just absolutely compelling. And I thought it spoke to how all of us feel, or most of us, Unless we have 600 guns and the government and all that. Or everybody who isn't in the White House right now, I suppose. That's what I keep seeing. Yeah. Nope. Still shortening his face. So weird. It's a nice thing about painting with mineral spirits. You can just wipe it off. It's not as permanent. Just laying down Neil McGilp. May have to restructure all of this. Nope. This is not getting better. It's getting weirder. Hand looks so squished. The mirror image. There it is. I'm hanging on to that eye because I liked it so much, but it's really too wide. So we're gonna have to say goodbye to some of. Bye-bye, some of Alec Baldwin's eye. Bye-bye. Nope, still doesn't look like Alec Baldwin. Reverse. Yeah, so there's a question. What is everybody working on? What are you listening to? And I certainly hope it's not the news. I'm not scared. That'll scare the crap out of you. Listen to the Babylon. What are you listening to? What are you doing? I'm listening to Sarah Vowell on Audible. Notice I don't have it on today because we're trying out the new iPad. Yeah, I've been listening to Sarah Vowell, a couple of her books. Listening to Wine and Crime, which is one of my new favorite things in the whole world, Wine and Crime podcast. It's ridiculous. These lady friends get together, get really drunk on wine, and talk about crimes. It's awesome. Nope. I don't know if anybody noticed, but I haven't really talked about Neo McGilp in a very long time. Or the paint I use. Used to talk about it a lot. And then last year, I had people from all over the world who would get a hold of me and ask me the name of the medium. So last year, I had a really hard time of it. Housemate kind of destroyed everything. Housemate had to go. When housemate finally did, I was stuck with $1,800 in rent, plus all the bills. Better than living with a man-child, but it was pretty bad, and that's how I started losing weight. I lost 65 or 70 pounds now, I'm not sure. But anyway, I got pretty desperate, and I ended up emailing Neil McGill, because they had actually sent me some stuff, because I talked about, they sent me not a lot of stuff, but stuff, because I do talk about gambling artist colors, or I was talking about them on my videos. Nice messages from them. The owner started following me, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I pulled in his eyeball. That might help. I don't know. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to give this a try. So I emailed the company and I said, look, I don't ask for anything. You guys used to sent me samples, which I actually had given to other artists, artists who weren't as, not that I'm fancy or doing well, but to artists that were doing not as well as me. Sent them or gave them my samples because they didn't have things to work with. So, and I'm not patting myself on the back. It's just what we do. His eye is still weird. Anyway, I wrote them and I didn't explain the whole situation, but enough to say, you know, can you just send me another sample pack with maybe some Neil McGill, because I'm desperate. And this is the part I never talked about. I got the snottiest, most condescending email back from some little turd who works there, telling me that they don't give out samples to individuals. They only give them out to schools. But it was put in such a horrible, condescending manner, like I was a homeless person on the street, God forbid, asking for something to eat. And I replied, I said, I'm this is who had been talking to me. In fact, Robert Gamblin himself has been following me, and I was under the impression if I needed anything to please let you know, please let the company know, and I said, I did, but never mind. She wrote back and she said, well, I'll have to speak to my superiors and we're going to have a meeting about this. We're going to have a meeting about this. I was asking for a small sample packs that I had given out to other people. That was it, just enough to Band-Aid. And I said, please don't bother. She wrote me back and said, we're offering you, can't even see his eyeball. We're offering you, this is Gamblin' Artist Colors, people I talked about for years. Put up on my Instagram page, blah, blah, blah. We're going to offer you a $200 gift card, online gift card. This is a one-time deal. We will never do it again. I may be desperate, but that's horrible. So I said, thank you, I'm sorry I bothered you, you will never hear from me again. I never used it. It was so insulting. It was so insulting. So I went without, and lo and behold, a couple people sent me paint. Let's see. It's a little bit better. Sent me paint just because. And that is why I don't talk about gambling artist colors anymore. It's taken me a year to be able to say, I think, about a year, to be able to say Neo McGilp again. I was so upset. I mean, I'm not certainly not a YouTuber with thousands of fans, not an influencer. Just somebody in their garage painting Alec Baldwin. But I would never speak to anyone that way. Not in a million years. You gotta be a pretty horrible human being for me to get mad. Or to be rude. Ooh. No, still looking better from my angle than that angle. Alec. Alec, my man. How long have we been at this? Ooh, we've been at this for 30 minutes. Yeah, I said I wouldn't talk, and then I did. A lot. They think I'm excited because I got an iPad. Vaguely Alec. It's vaguely Alec. Not full on Alec. Vaguely. All right. I think I'm going to cut this off, see if we can upload it. What I like is when you're here, it looks like his eyes are looking at you and over there at the same time, which is kind of cool. They definitely follow you, but if you set your mind to, I wonder what he's looking at, it's all of a sudden like he went, boink. So he's staring right at you. I'm Alec Baldwin. And I'm in New York. And it's COVID-19. And I've been in here with 4 kids and my wife. Yeah, 4 kids and the wife. We're eating porridge. Boink. That's what it looks like. Anyway, so I think I'm going to shut this off, see if I can upload it. Fingers crossed on that. If I can upload it, then we're up and running once again. Thank you to Christy for the iPad. Thank you to everybody who's been so patient while we try and figure this out. Please let me know what you're doing, what you're listening to, what projects you're working on. Let me see pictures. You can send them to me through my website, becklaneartist.com, www.becklaneartist.com, through Instagram, Beck Lane Artist, Facebook, Beck Lane, I think it's just Beck Lane now. and it's a picture of a ceramic face like this. It's hanging in my bathroom. It's a little ceramic thing in my bathroom. Find me, tell me, show me, please. All right? Let's get through this next 30 days, 60 days, whatever the F this is, together, okay? What did I say once before, months ago? Let's Vincent, together. Anyway, ciao.